Hi, my name is Alan Carroll, and here is my flow chart. Here's an up-close view of it. I chose a funnel type flow chart with the balls inside the funnel being the finance, showing how it funnels into public education, and then the arrows pointing to the purple blocks is referencing the influence and how each area influences public education. So with finances, I have federal government provides approximately 10.8% or $70 billion of education funding for primary and secondary schools, which includes the U.S. Department of Education, which offers competitive grants to states and local education agencies such as Race to the Top and School Improvement Grants. The U.S. Department of Education oversees the programs that provide Pell Grants, student loans, and work-study assistance to post-secondary students. The Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees the Head Start program, which promotes school readiness of children under 5 from low-income families. The Office of Head Start manages grant funding and oversees local agencies providing Head Start services. The Department of Agriculture, which oversees the National School Lunch Program, which is a federally assisted meal program in public and nonprofit private schools and residential child care institutions, and it provides nutritionally balanced, low-cost, or free lunches to children. Then we have state government, which is right here. State government provides approximately 44% of the total education funds. The state legislature sets state income and sales tax to generate revenue for education, which is the largest source of the state education funding. It also sets the total state education budget and allocates funds. All states have a chief state school officer who directs the State Department of Education, which is the largest source, who directs the State Department of Education and works with the State Board of Education to control funding levels. The State Department of Education disperses grants and allocates funds to school districts based on formulas. Most formulas are based on the number of pupils in a district, and some are weighted differently based on the number of students with disabilities, the number of students living in poverty, and the number of students who speak English as a second language. In some states, the formula allocates more funds to districts with higher poverty levels due to a lack of local funding, which brings us to local government, which provides approximately 44% of the total education funding also. It sets property tax, which is the primary source of local education funding. Wealthier districts have more local funding, while poorer districts may have higher tax rates but still have less funding. And this creates large funding discrepancies across districts, which lead to less educational opportunities in poorer school districts. And then we have other sources, which is right here. And that's corporations and businesses such as Coca-Cola, Walmart, Target, Chick-fil-A, who offer schools and students grants and scholarships for everything from school repairs and supplies to student tuitions. Then you have groups such as booster clubs and also private citizens who donate funds for everything from coach perks to educational tools to athletic expenses. And then that brings us to the influences. So federal government has influences in the following ways. Federal government directs funds to states, schools, and students based on need. It collects statistics and information provided by states to evaluate programs and policies to help play a leadership role in improving the education system for all students. It implements and monitors the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, which is also known as the No Child Left Behind Act, which requires states to set standards for each grade, test reading and math achievement in grades 3 through 8 and once in high school, and hold schools accountable for achieving adequate yearly progress. It also sets laws that relate to education, such as the No Child Left Behind Act, which we just talked about, the equal opportunity laws like Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972, and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, and the GI Bill, which authorizes post-secondary education assistance to military vets. Then we have the state government. The chief state school officer directs like I said before, directs the State Department of Education and works with the State Board of Education to set educational goals, implement standardized testing like the SAT, Explorer, STAR, ARMT, all those types of tests, and helps the state legislature determine state funding levels. The State Department of Education is also responsible for federal reporting, dispersing grants based on district need, and providing information, resources, and/or tools in support of local implementation of state and federal requirements. And then you have local government. The district superintendents, school boards, and principals typically set district and school curriculums within state guidelines, the district and school budgets, and disciplinary policies. They also oversee day-to-day school operations and school staffing. With the staffing, principals are hired by the superintendents and school boards, and then other staff members are interviewed and recommended by principals, with the final approval lying with the superintendent and the school board. And then you have non-government agencies and other sources. Other sources such as booster clubs, politicians, political and/or religious groups, and prominent citizens can influence curriculum, reform, policies, funding, and staffing based off of corporate, personal, political, and/or religious views, opinions, and/or beliefs. A great recent and local example is Piedmont High School changing its policy regarding prayer during football games due to a letter they received from the attorney of the Freedom from Religion Foundation that stated having prayer over the public address system at the games violated the First Amendment. Another good example is when coaches are fired, sometimes even mid-season, due to pressure from booster clubs because of poor performance. To me, the most surprising thing that I learned while doing this assignment is that 44% of the total education funding is local. It definitely helped me better understand the drastic differences in the level of resources and quality education available between school districts. And that's it. Thank you.